Well, welcome to Coffee and a Chat. And today I want to say hi to two of my new friends, because we're all friends around here, right? To Charity and Andromeda. They both left, and I hope I'm saying your name right, but they both left comments for me on one of the other videos. And so I just want to say hi and thank you for watching. And I hope that maybe today's video will be a blessing to you. So today I'm going to share a little more of a glimpse into my heart of actually where I'm at right now, kind of some things that I've been going through. I've told you guys on other videos that that I went through a lot of abuse as a child, went through some as an adult, and when you go through abuse, and I know that statistically probably a good 90% of everybody watching this video has been through abuse, sadly, because it shouldn't be so prevalent, but it is, that you learn how to keep secrets if you've been groomed for that, especially, and I was well groomed. So I know how to keep a secret. I know how to swallow some of my feelings and temporarily put up the hey, it's all great, so nobody knows thing. I know how to be afraid. I've had people in my life that have simply controlled me through fear. Fear has been a great control factor. And these are things that, even though I've gotten so much better and the Lord's delivered me out of a lot of things, I still have little battles here and there where those things try to creep back in or they're not quite all the way out. And so today has been a very exciting day, but also a very humbling day and a day of great joy and encouragement. So I want to share a little bit. I want to go back first and share a little something with you. I have shared before on other videos that 16 years ago, I went through the darkest time of my life. And I've been through a lot of dark times, but this one was really bad. In fact, I wasn't sure I was going to get through it. There were days I had to find a reason to keep taking the next breath. I really didn't think that what I was going through, I didn't think was something I was going to be able to survive. I've survived a lot of things. I am a survivor. I am an overcomer. I walk in victory. Yes, all those things. But this thing was so bad that I didn't know if I was going to be able to come through this one. And it was very doubtful to me. I felt I had been wounded. My wounds were wounded in this one. It was very tragic. I didn't know who to trust. I didn't know what was real, what was true anymore. There just was a lot to it. And in that time, I came across, because I was just reaching out. For a while, I had memory loss for a while because it actually did some damage to my brain, what I went through. And so I wasn't even sure if God was real or if he existed, or had I ever really believed in him. It was really bizarre. If you know me, that is very bizarre for me to have those kinds of questions and thoughts. And it scared some people in my life. I'm sure they were wondering, some of them, if it was ever going to work out okay. But I began to pursue God. And as memories started coming back and stuff, I knew that he was the only thing I could cling to that gave me any kind of hope. And honestly, I had days when I wasn't even sure that was happening. So I was reading in the scriptures, and I began to see scriptures in light of what I was going through. So I want to read a scripture that changed my life, that turned things around. The day I read this, I'd read it many times before, but this day I read it in relation to what I was going through and how I felt about some things. And this is out of Ezekiel. It's chapter 16, and it's verses 4 through 8. And it says this. And this is out of the NIV, in case that matters to somebody. On the day you were born, your cord was not cut, nor were you washed with water to make you clean, nor were you rubbed with salt or wrapped in cloths. No one looked on you with pity or had compassion enough to do any of these things for you. Rather, you were thrown out into the open field, for on the day you were born, you were despised. Then I passed by and saw you kicking about in your blood. And as you lay there in your blood, I said to you, live, or live. I made you grow like a plant of the field. You grew and developed and entered puberty. Yes, this is the R-rated section. Your breasts had formed and your hair had grown, yet you were stark naked. Later I passed by, and when I looked at you and saw that you were old enough for love, I spread the corner of my garment over you and covered your naked body. I gave you my solemn oath and entered into a covenant with you, declares the sovereign Lord, and you became mine. Now, when this was being written in the book of Ezekiel, it's being written to the children of Israel, and it's all about, him redeeming them and everything. But on the day I read this, it spoke to me, God saying this to me, okay? So on the day I was born, in truth, I know I was wanted by my parents. I don't know about anybody else, but I know they wanted me. There goes my light again. One of these days. Let's see, can I get it to? Yes. I'm going to get that thing figured out yet. Okay, so it's not the light, it's the computer that's the problem. But anyhow, back to what I was saying. So my mom had, I was baby number 6 out of 7. She had had 5 babies before I was born, but only one lived past the first day of life. So I had an older brother when I was born that was 4 years older than me, 4 years and 2 days. And, but my other 2 brothers and 2 sisters, they hadn't lived beyond the day of their birth. And my mom, this was very traumatic for my mother, her whole life. From then on, that was very traumatic for her. In fact, I think it took her 30 years before she even would really talk about it and begin to, we knew there were these babies that died, but we didn't know much about it. But after about 30 something years, then my mom began to talk about it. So, she gave me, and I think she did my other 2 brothers too, because I have a younger brother as well. And I think she had given them the list too, but it gives their names, the day they were born and died. And we were allowed to talk about it after that because my mom and my dad were both healing. So I know that when I came along, that they were hoping I was going to make it. They did want me. But at this point, 16 years ago, I didn't think, I began to even question that maybe they had wanted me, but I probably was a huge disappointment. Maybe they since regretted it. And it was a very dark time. But, so even though I know I was wanted, when it says on the day that you were born, your cord was not cut, nor were you washed with water to make you clean, nor were you rubbed with salt or wrapped in cloths. No one looked on you with pity or had compassion enough to do any of these things for you. Rather, you were thrown out into the open field, for on the day you were born, you were despised. That felt more real to me, that I was despised. I felt despised, unwanted, unloved in life. And then it goes on and says when he comes by and, and I saw you laying there naked and that you were old enough for love, that you had matured, you weren't a child anymore. That I think it's in the New Living translation that it says that I covered you with my robe. Now, some of the abuse I'd been through, this whole naked thing, I don't like naked. Okay. I joke around, only it's really not a joke, that I'm very opposed to nudity, especially my own. I had some bad things happen. I've been gawked at and looked over and stripped down naked in front of a bunch of guys. Was not a good day, was not a good situation, was not a good thing what happened. And so I've got this thing, that's very hard for me to be naked. I don't like to be naked. I don't like people to see me naked. I don't like to go to, when I used to go to the doctor, I didn't like to go to the doctor and they were like, okay, you need to take your clothes off and put on this paper. Oh no, I don't like any of that. It's beyond not liking it. Okay. Been a real problem for me. And so the thought that God would come along and cover me, not expose me, that was huge. And that he would make me his own, that he chose me, that he wanted me. That was very important. And so that scripture, it has a whole nother meaning to me. And it is something that has blessed me in life. And so I've been on a journey the last 16 years of trying to learn to not hate myself, not to let the self-contempt go, and to love myself without, not in a narcissistic way, and to feel comfortable in my own skin. Okay? And we've made a lot of progress, especially in the last 9 years, because the husband God gave me, after all the things I'd been through, when he gave me Marvin has been very healing for me. There is nothing abusive about this man. I don't know, maybe in the past there has been, he hasn't always been this great godly man, but who he is now, I'll tell you, there's nothing abusive about him. I've said before, he's never raised a hand to me, he's never raised his voice to me, and he's never cheated on me. And that right there is huge, so huge. So I've been safe with my husband. And that is a reflection of God in his life. Okay, so all this coming up to today, when you already deal with self-contempt and you're struggling with that, and then you get older and people aren't as interested in having you be part of this ministry thing or that, because I love serving the Lord, you guys. When God calls me to do something and I can go be obedient to him, that is the greatest joy for me. That's who I am. And that's what I love to do. But, you get older and they want the younger people, and we got to reach the younger people and the old people can't do it, and so I had already experienced some of that. Then when Marvin and I got married, I moved 3,000 miles away, which also is part of God's plan. I know that there are people that got left behind, that when I moved away, they didn't like that. They didn't understand it. Some of them are probably still mad at me for it. But I had to do it because that's what God wanted me to do. I was not safe where I was. It was a very toxic place. I was not physically safe sometimes. I was not emotionally or mentally safe. There was a lot of things going on and a lot of people that had heard some things about me that weren't true, but they believed they were true. And there were people that wanted to strike out at me and go after me. It wasn't good. And so God moved me 3,000 miles away where I could have some peace and quiet, and he could begin to work in my heart and to heal me. And so that's where I am now. And so even though I know there are people that still don't understand, why I would go so far away, and they don't understand that was what God needed to do to protect me and to save me, I know it. And so I deal with that, and it's hard, and I miss my kids and I miss my grandkids, and I've got a granddaughter and a great granddaughter I've never got to hold. I've never got to love on them and meet them in person because I'm so far away. And I don't know, maybe God will open the door one day and I'll get to be that, to see them. They'll come here or I'll go there or whatever. But until then, I just have to trust him. So what I've been dealing with the last probably couple of years is feeling that maybe I'd lost my use to God. And, and I tell myself, I know that's not true, but it just kind of felt that way. And I just didn't have the opportunities that I used to have in serving him. My life is more isolated, more quiet than what it used to be. Everything is very different, very different. And so this is something that I've poured out before God, and, and he started laying on my heart about doing a YouTube channel, but I was afraid and I didn't have all the stuff. And in my past life, you always had to have the best of everything, and you came in like a pro. You didn't come in as an amateur and just do you didn't do what I do and just put your phone up, start filming, and hey, it is what it is. No editing, no fancy music. It's not a production. It's just raw me. And yet that's what God told me to do when the first video came out on this, the Welcome to Coffee and a Chat video. That morning, God woke me up and said, look, just go film it. Put your phone up. Don't worry about not having the right camera or lighting or whatever. Just put your phone up and just do this first video. Just do it. And I was like, but don't worry about it. Just do it. Well, I don't know how do you upload? Do you download? I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know anything about technology. I'm terrified to put it on, on YouTube. And he's like, I'll show you. And he did. And it was easy. And so, there's a lot more I need to learn, a lot more that I need to do. I mean, my videos have already improved from the standpoint that when I first started them, I couldn't figure out how to turn it in the landscape mode to film. So they're all that little narrow screen, the first ones, because that's all I could figure out how to do. Well, then eventually I figured out the other. So that's already an improvement. Gail's improved it with getting some kind of lighting in here. And and there's just been so much that, it's growing. It hasn't even been a full 2 months yet. And, even though it feels like forever, because I put a video up every day and it's not been a problem. And so as this develops, first I think I had 3 subscribers, and then, I started adding them one at a time. And then I think it sat at 8 or 9 for the longest time. Then I finally hit 10 and on and on. Well, it's been slowly growing. And I pray over it all the time. I want this to honor God. I want to encourage people. I want him to use me in touching other people's lives. And my story, I think, is a messy, ugly tearjerker of a story in many ways. But if God can use it in somebody else's life, then it makes it worth it. So here goes the light again. Let's see. Yeah. I'm telling you. This is really fancy stuff, isn't it? Whatever. It's real. That's one thing. It's real. Okay, so last night when I went to bed, I had 21 subscribers, which is amazing to me. And I know, that's nothing. I know there's people out there with thousands and hundreds of thousands and even millions and, and all of that. But for me, when I see one person watch the video and then they leave a comment that it blessed them or something, I'm like, okay, I made a difference in somebody's life today. That's huge. Okay. So today I had an appointment I had to go keep. So I got my video uploaded, because you upload. I've learned that. So I got it uploaded onto YouTube, went to my appointment. And when I got home, I was trying to get my husband some lunch, and there was a notification on my phone, and I looked, and it's my friend Gail going, hey, you've got 28 subscribers. I'm like, are you sure? Can that be right? There was 21 when I went to bed last night, and suddenly there's 7 more. There must be a mistake. And is this really happening? This is God. That's all I can say is it's God. It's not me. It's God. And so then I told her, I haven't even checked yet. I haven't had a chance. So I'm going to look. Well, I looked. It didn't say 28. Oh no. Now it said 30. I'm like, Gail, it's not 28, it's 30. And I'm like going, I can't believe it. And then there was quite the discussion that went back and forth between us and how it's going to be 100. And I don't know, maybe it'll be 100 before I even go to bed tonight. Because then I look again, a minute later, it's 31. And then I'm like, well, if I look again, will it be 32? So I look again, and sure enough, it was 32. I don't even know what it is now. I haven't had time to look again. But anyway, going through all of this, I'm like, I don't know. And it was yesterday's video, which at the time, because I record these things in advance, and I'm not sure when this one will come up. I may just go ahead and put it up tomorrow. But so it would be 2 days after the video, but it's when God has something better for you. That video, instead of getting 20 to 40 views in the first 24 hours, it got almost 400 views in the first 24 hours. Again, I know that's small potatoes for everybody else, but to me, it blows me out of the water, and it is very humbling to me. But here's the big thing that's happening and why there's so much joy in my heart today. Maybe I'm not too old for God to use. I mean, see, like, I know this, and I would tell you that you're not too old. You could be 103, and I'm like, your best days are ahead of you yet. You haven't even done your greatest things yet. But when it's me, you guys, he might still... No, he still has use for me. He is my greatest love, though I don't love anybody as much as I love Jesus. And that he still has use for this old woman. That's pretty awesome. So I'm excited. God can still use my life. And I had some comments, some very positive feedback on more than just that video, but on some other videos. And I just, I had said on the video that I put up today, I actually had 21 viewers to, like I said, when I went to bed last night. But when I filmed this video, I only had 20. And I had said, let's go for 30. And then here it was 30. Now it's up to 32 the last time I checked. And, all of those represent lives that God, I hope, is moving in those lives, that he's encouraging people through these stupid videos, that he is talking to them, and maybe some of them are finding him for the first time. I mean, that is the absolute best, is that people would come to Jesus. So yeah, it's taken me back to when, and I don't know if I've said that because I've redone this video a couple of times because it tends to get way too long, and it's already too long now. I'm looking at the timer, it's too long. But I used to be part of a small group, and I was the old lady of the group, which is fine. And that they used to call me Mama Angie, and I loved it because I love being Mama Angie. And I think I already said that on this video. But anyway, see, the excitement gets you going. The thing is, today I'm like, hey, Mama Angie is still rocking and rolling, people. She's back. Well, she didn't really go anywhere. Maybe she took a little break because God needed her to take a little break. But yeah, so you guys get encouraged by things? Well, so do I. I'm encouraged that God is not done with me yet. And if he's not done with me, I know he's not done with you, because see, you're way more talented than I am. You're younger than I am. Well, some of you aren't, but most of you are. And he's not done with, that's why you're still here. He ain't done with you, and he's not done with me. All right, so anybody else want to subscribe? Because I'm going for 100 before I go to bed tonight. I want to see 100. So 100, come on. And I love you guys. I truly do. If you haven't subscribed and the craziness and the realness or whatever speaks to you and you want to see more, I put a new video up every day. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and then you'll know when it comes up, whenever I actually get it uploaded, because I'm not like on a super tight schedule. I don't know if I ever will be. I get it up as soon as I can. And then leave me those comments and do those thumbs up, because that's the part that I need to encourage me and to know kind of where your guys' hearts are, to know what direction I need to go to minister to you, because Jesus cares about you. All right. You guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later.